welcome to this meeting of the Startup New York Approval Board. My name is John Majori. Before us for consideration today are 4 plans from colleges and university sponsors of tax-free New York areas. Hofstra University and New York Institute of Technology are proposing to designate their first tax-free New York areas, and Mount St. Mary College and the Rochester Institute of Technology are amending their existing plans. Before we turn to business, let me introduce myself and provide some general information about the board. Actually, why don't Ed? Why don't you introduce yourself, and Abe, why don't you introduce yourself too, and then I'll get back onto this.
Abe, you want to go first? The Senate should always
go ahead. Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Ed Cupoli. I represent the Assembly, the Speaker of the Assembly. Been involved in state government for a long time. Anything else?
No.
I mean, I've got a background in economics, PhD, did this, did that, boards of this, boards of that. Fundamentally, I'm retired, and I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to get, on my spare time, which is most every day of the year, I try to get people to be more cognizant of what's going on so that better public policy could be made. And I'm very not happy, like it's a great thing to do, right? Even though I love you, Abe. But it's a good, this is a challenge to deal with because, Startup New York is something that has the possibility to really change our economy for good or better. And I want to be part of that. So sometimes I apologize for my behavior in advance. Sometimes I get a little emotional. But I believe in this, and I've been studying it for a long time. And, amen. That's me.
Thank you.
Sorry. Abe.
Abe Blackman, representing the state Senate. Spent 24 years in government, then 8 years representing all of the private not-for-profit colleges in New York State. And then I did 1 year where I represented all the private not-for-profit colleges in the country. And now I work for a philanthropy, Simon's Foundation, which is a philanthropic organization. So it's my 3rd career, and looking forward towards retirement.
Thank you, Abe. And Governor Cuomo appointed me to be the executive representative on this board last month, August 29th. I'm the director of policy for the governor. Previous to that, I was chief of staff to Lieutenant Governor Bob Duffy, and before that, I was in the Attorney General's office, and way before that, I was in the Assembly, actually.
Wow.
So, I'm here as the governor's representative for my first meeting. The board was created under Article 21 of the New York State Economic Development Law to evaluate and approve plans submitted by colleges and universities to designate tax-free New York areas. All colleges and universities submit their plans to Empire State Development, but this board is responsible for final approval of all plans submitted by private colleges and universities, as well as certain plans submitted by public sponsors that are located in the downstate region or that are proposing to designate strategic state assets. Once these tax-free New York areas are approved, the sponsoring colleges and universities may begin to accept applications from businesses to participate in the program. The board reviews plans to designate tax-free New York areas to ensure that the plans meet the statutory criteria for designation, are supported by reasonable economic and fiscal assumptions, and have the potential to promote job creation. The board also seeks to promote balance in the designation of tax-free New York areas by region and monitors the amount of space designated by region. So our first order of business is to appoint a chairman of the board, and I would ask if there's any nominations for chairman of the board.
John. I nominate John.
Thank you, Abe. Are there any other nominations?
Would you like to be nominated before I?
Not a chance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then
Okay.
since you've, then I'll second the motion.
All right.
All right,
thank you.
that's
Hearing no other nominations, I call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Hearing no noes, the vote is called. The ayes have it. I am the new chairman of the board. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Can we change the location? No, I'm just kidding.
I would just want to add for the record that I think Andrew Kennedy, the previous chair, did a superb job. And I think we all deserve, Andrew deserves thanks from the current board.
I concur with that 100%. Andrew was a pleasure to work with in the chamber, and he did great work for the people of the state of New York, and he's missed, not just in this capacity, but just as somebody who worked in state government. Our next order of business is the appointment of a secretary to the board. Allison Walsh, who's here, the current secretary to the board, has resigned from her position due to taking on additional duties with Empire State Development that will prevent her from devoting time to the board. I'm going to nominate Ms. Allison Argist for the position of secretary to the board. Ms. Argist is a research analyst for ESD, where she has worked for nearly 3 years on economic development and tax incentive programs. She has worked primarily on Startup New York, including assisting and evaluating the eligibility of businesses to participate in the program. Before I call the vote, are there any other nominations for secretary?
No.
Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Mr. Kupeli.
In favor.
Mr. Blackman.
Aye.
I also cast an aye, so it's unanimous. Congratulations, Allison.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, our next order of business is to adopt the minutes of the previous board meeting. I move that the minutes be adopted, provided by the secretary. The minutes that have been provided by the secretary be adopted. It is moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Abe. We'll now proceed to a roll call vote. Mr. Kupeli.
In favor.
Mr. Blackman.
Aye.
I will also vote aye. By unanimous consent, we have approved the minutes. At this point, we'll turn to consideration of Hofstra University's plan to designate a tax-free New York area. Tricia Hartle of ESD will provide us with a brief overview of the plan, after which I will open up the floor for members to address questions to ESD, as well as to provide any general remarks.
Thank you. Hofstra University is a private institution with its main campus in the village of Hempstead, Nassau County, Long Island, approximately 7 miles east of New York City. Hofstra was an extension of NYU and separated from NYU in 1939 and was granted an absolute charter in 1940. Hofstra University is proposing to designate 3,062 square feet of vacant space within the Donald Axon Library. This is a collaborative environment for students and high technology businesses called the Idea Hub. The Idea Hub will be administered by the Center for Entrepreneurship, designed to serve as a new economic engine and launched in 2015 to build a culture of entrepreneurship on campus. Hofstra University will target high technology businesses, including information technology, clean energy, biotechnology, engineering and advanced materials, food technology, and digital film technologies. The university will partner with businesses offering internships, mentorships, and workshop series. The proposed tax-free area will attract new technology-based, high-growth companies to the area that will contribute to the economic revitalization of Long Island. To date, the university has received inquiries from social media management platform company, a software development firm, and an educational technology company, estimating upwards of 25 net new jobs in the next 2 years.
Thank you, Tricia. The floor is now open for questions or comments.
I only have one question. It has the as part of the package, has the conflict of interest statement been revised?
It has
That
been
we're voting on?
revised. It has been revised. It's been forwarded to members via email last
Okay.
evening. It will be incorporated in as part of the new plan.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you, on that question, could you just tell us what, because I don't remember what those changes were?
One of the things that we like to incorporate in the conflict of interest policies is that an official of the school would also include a trustee of the university. In this case, it was absent from the last version that was sent to you, and it was been revised to include that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No.
Okay, hearing none, I move to bring the matter of the Hofstra University plan to designate a tax-free New York area to a vote. Is there a second?
Second.
Abe is seconded. It is moved and seconded We'll now proceed to a roll call vote. Mr. Copley?
In favor.
In favor. Mr. Blackman?
Aye.
Aye, and I also vote in favor. Okay, so the vote has passed.
Okay. Oh, that was. I'm sorry, I get confused.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. I thought I was on the.
so
Can we go back?
Sure. For the record,
Yes.
I didn't quite hear you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is,
How do you vote?
I was confused about, so in the last one,
Yes,
right, I want to abstain
you're going to abstain.
without
Okay.
any objection.
Without any objection?
Yes.
Without objection or comment, you're abstaining?
Yes.
And you are, Mr. Blackman?
I'm going to vote aye twice.
You're going to vote?
You got at least 3.
So the vote is 2 in favor, none opposed, and there is 1 abstention. So the vote passes. Okay. So we're now going to move on to the matter of the New York Institute of Technology's plan. We'll now consider New York Institute of Technology's plan to designate a tax-free New York area. Tricia will provide us with a brief overview of the plan, and then just like the last one, I'll open up the floor to questions or comments.
Okay. New York Institute of Technology, also known as NYIT, is a global private institution with 3 New York campuses, one in Old Westbury, Nassau County, Long Island, one in Central Islip, Suffolk County, Long Island, and one in Manhattan. The university offers degrees in science and engineering and related fields such as architecture, medicine, industrial management, and education, among others. NYIT at Old Westbury has applied to designate 3,772 square feet of vacant space within the Entrepreneurship and Technology Innovation Center. We refer to this as ETIC. This space is located within the Engineering and Computing Science Building. The ETIC is comprised of 8,000 square feet, including academic working and laboratory space, conference and training rooms, auditorium, and a dedicated data center. NYIT at Old Westbury will target high technology businesses, including IT and cybersecurity, bioengineering and health analytics, energy and green technologies, high-tech manufacturing, and high-tech environmental sustainability enterprises. The college will work to attract businesses that will offer opportunities for internships, hands-on experience, and enhance employment opportunities after graduation while integrating them into the economic fabric of the region. The college has already been in discussions with prospective business partners and has received several inquiries from IT cyber security outfits, bioengineering and medical devices, health and energy and green technology industries. 5 such inquiries are progressing with plans to locate to the space, estimated between 23 and 44 net new jobs to be created over the next 5 years. NYIT intends to amend this campus plan for additional space as more space becomes available.
Thank you very much. The floor is now open for questions or comments. Any questions or comments?
I would only comment that I think it's great that there are 2 new applications from Long Island. I think particularly with their focus on biotechnology, these are 2 great schools with 2 great applications.
Thank you very much.
I don't have a specific comment on it, but related, Abe, to what you said. I mean, there's a lot of obviously great stuff that's coming together. It takes time to do that. It would be very good, I think, for a state's perspective, if they could take that data and put it together when there's some kind of like synergies, even if it's outside of that region,
Yeah.
so that we can see the state becoming much more vibrant and interconnected
Right.
and stronger, so that we can have even more jobs come to us because of what we're doing.
That's an excellent point. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. No
Uh,
problem with anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, hearing no further questions or comments, I move to bring the matter to a vote. Is there a second?
Second.
That is seconded. We'll now vote. Mr. Copley?
In favor.
Mr. Blackman?
Yes.
Okay, I also vote in favor, so the vote is passed 3-0. And we will now move on to consider an amendment to the Mount St. Mary College's plan to designate tax-free New York areas. Judy Tull of ESD will provide us with a brief overview of the plan, after which, as with the last 2, I will open the floor to questions and comments.
Thank you. Mount St. Mary College has submitted an amendment to their approved campus designation plan pursuant to Section 220.9 of the Economic Development Startup New York regulations. This is the first amendment that Mount St. Mary's has submitted to the board for consideration. Mount St. Mary's is proposing to designate 5,322 square feet at 218 Ann Street, Newburgh, which is off campus. Mount St. Mary currently has 7,698 square feet of designated space on campus. The space will allow Mount St. Mary College to accommodate a new cidery producing cider from New York State apples. The company is projecting approximately 16 net new jobs over the next 5 years. Mount St. Mary's original campus plan was approved on September 25, 2014. The college has targeted businesses in the following industries: educational and training products, new educational delivery platforms, health and fitness products and software, healthcare business intelligence and analytics products, medical device developing and testing, market research in social health and educational areas, integration of fitness, education, and life science business opportunities, integration of environmental sciences and business opportunities, biotech, green products, agriculture and food production, media products, applied sciences, and pharmaceutical manufacturing.
Thank you very much. So the floor is now open for questions or comments. How do you like them?
Just a question. I mean, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
So they have layered. I assume that you've reviewed their structure in terms of the overlapping integration of all of these pieces that obviously would be extremely powerful, put together. I'm assuming they do that, right?
Yes.
I mean, but to see that goes back to where I was earlier in a question, that would be, wow. It's not just about one part of the state, but it's a part of the state doing something that in other places, whether it's Buffalo or Rochester, take your pick, right? Whoever's doing it, that they can do that together, and so much of it now is basically telecommuting or computerized, so that we could create a lot more really good jobs that have a great down effect in the rest of the economy. So, sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Copley?
In favor.
Mr. Blackman?
Aye.
I also vote in favor, so the vote is passed 3-0. Our final item, I believe, is we will consider an amendment to the Rochester Institute of Technology's plan to designate tax-free New York areas. Tricia is going to provide us with a brief overview of the plan, and as with the previous items, I'll then open up the floor to discussion.
Okay, thank you. Rochester Institute of Technology, also known as RIT, has submitted an amendment to their approved campus designation plan pursuant to Section 220.9 of the Economic Development Startup New York regulations. This is the second amendment RIT has submitted to the board for consideration. RIT is proposing to designate 11,000 square feet of the 11th floor at the Metropolitan Building in Rochester off campus. Once known as the Lincoln First Tower, the Metropolitan is a short walk from RIT's Center of Urban Entrepreneurship and the planned Finger Lakes Business Accelerator Cooperative. RIT currently has 50,911 square feet of designated space on campus. This space will allow RIT to accommodate the growing expansion of an approved startup New York business, an information technology company specializing in the design of systems for on- and off-site backup, disaster recovery, and business continuity solutions that enable businesses to mitigate downtime in the event of a catastrophic event. Currently, the business is located at 40 Franklin Street in startup designated space and has outgrown that space. RIT's original campus plan was approved March 17, 2014. The college has targeted businesses for high-tech, sustainability and green technology, manufacturing, game design and development, film and animation, software development, information technology, cybersecurity, and aerospace and imaging.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments on this one?
Go ahead. I would make comment that RIT, which is a spectacular school in the Rochester area, is probably the best example that startup, although I know some critics are saying it's been too slow, is actually starting to put real roots in. This is the third time they now have come to expand their startup proposal, and I think it's a great sign. And I hope other schools follow in their footsteps.
And thank you, Abe, for that. I mean, put it in perspective, but as a kid that grew up in Syracuse, I mean, and when we wanted to go out, when we were teenagers or whatever, it was always to go to Rochester because they had so many more things. And it was flashing back when you were talking through this. And cause I'm thinking, if you look at the list, I mean, this is like, wow, this isn't startup. I mean, it's startup for what we're doing, but they have a lot of capability and pedigree to deal with these different issues.
Sure.
And this program has been helping them to basically enhance it so that they can make it stronger and make upstate New York stronger. I know the Rochester, that's where I grew up in Syracuse,
Yeah.
but Rochester was always like, those were the cool people, right? So I think it's really great what they're doing and the way they've approached it, and it's not about all in one day, it's evolving and really thought through. So I think it's really great for the state of New York and the upstate economy, and so I'm in favor.
Okay. Well, I'll take that as a yes vote.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. The question is called. Abe, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, I also vote
Oh,
yes.
I'm
so
sorry, I got ahead of myself.
That's okay. I'm going to count it as a yes.
Okay.
So the motion passed unanimously, and I believe that is our last item of business. Are there any other outstanding issues? Okay, hearing none, I make a motion to adjourn. I do need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Blackman. Thank you all for attending this meeting. Our business for today has concluded.
Nice
Thank you.
meeting, thank you. That was nice meeting you.
Here, guys.